So, today we're going to dive into an ancient text that's basically a psychological roadmap for our modern, pretty chaotic minds. It's this incredible guide to how we get stuck, and maybe more importantly, how we get free. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's start with a feeling I think we all know, that sense of being stuck on a mental hamster wheel, right? You're anxious, so you grab your phone for a distraction, which just ends up making you feel kind of worse, and that in turn makes you even more anxious. It's such a powerful and super frustrating loop. Well, it turns out there's this ancient text that basically reverse engineers this exact problem. It's called the Sutra on the Cause of Causes, and it asks this really simple but wow, profound question. Where does our suffering, that feeling of being stuck, where does it actually begin? All right, so let's play detective for a minute. To find the source of this loop, the sutra works backward. It starts with the most obvious symptom and traces it all the way down to its deepest, most hidden root. The investigation starts with what it calls craving. And this is the engine of our discontent. You know, that constant nagging feeling that if we just had one more thing, more success, a different partner, that new phone, then we'd finally be happy. But we never are we? So the big question is, what's fueling this engine? Why do we crave things so intensely, even when we kind of know deep down they won't bring any lasting satisfaction? What's going on there? Craving is born from ignorance. Now, hold on, this isn't about being dumb or not knowing facts. It's more like a mental fog, a fundamental misperception of how things really are that keeps us just chasing shadows. This takes us one level deeper. I mean, if ignorance is the cause of our craving, what causes the ignorance itself? What creates this fog in the first place? And the text breaks this down into a really clear chain reaction. It all starts with unguarded senses. I mean, think about mindlessly scrolling through social media. That leads to improper attention, where we start fixing on things that just stir up more anxiety and desire. And eventually this just erodes our faith, our basic trust that there's a better, clearer way to live. Okay, we're almost there. We've traced craving back to ignorance, and ignorance back to this lack of mindfulness and faith. So what is the deepest root? What is the very first domino to fall in this whole downward spiral? And the answer is, well, it's surprisingly simple, but also really profound. According to this ancient map, the entire chain of suffering doesn't begin with some internal flaw. It begins with an external choice. The voices we listen to, and the wisdom we choose to ignore. It all starts with who we turn away from. But here's the best part. The text doesn't just diagnose the problem. It also provides a perfectly symmetrical solution, a literal upward spiral that leads directly to freedom. The goal of this new path is liberation, or world-transcending wisdom. Now, this isn't some floaty, abstract idea. It's a state of deep clarity and freedom from those negative loops we started with. And just like suffering, it has a clear, buildable structure. So, how do we begin to construct this path toward clarity? What's the very first brick we need to lay to build this upward spiral? Well, we start by building established faith, which is a genuine trust in the path. This naturally leads to right mindfulness, a kind of clear, mirror-like awareness. And with that awareness, we can then consciously begin guarding the senses instead of just letting them run wild. See the pattern? It's the exact reverse of the downward spiral. So what's the ultimate foundation? What is that one single essential building block that this entire upward journey rests on? And the answer is just so simple and incredibly powerful. The journey to freedom begins with associating with the wise. It starts with the community we build and the positive influences we actively, consciously seek out. Okay, now let's put these two paths side by side, because this is where the core insight of the entire text just becomes crystal clear. It's a real aha moment. This lays it all out just perfectly. The two paths are mirror images of each other. Suffering begins by turning away from the wise. Freedom begins by associating with them. It flows from a lack of faith to established faith, from unguarded senses to guarded senses. The path to freedom isn't some complicated secret technique. It's a direct, intentional reversal of the path to suffering. The crucial point here, the big takeaway, is that this ancient psychological map isn't just theory. It's not just a nice idea. It gives us a clear, actionable, and maybe even a surprising place to start. The sutra's logic really boils down to this powerful idea. Think about it. Before you can fix your mind, before you can practice mindfulness, before you do anything else, you have to first look at your environment. Our influences are not neutral. They are the very foundation of our inner world. So, this leaves us with a final question to carry with us. This ancient map suggests that the most important step you can take for your own well-being might not be an internal one at all, but an external one. Who are you choosing to listen to?